All right, welcome back to another early adopter edition. And in this episode, we're going to talk about my first linked document in Sparx EA. So let's get started. So if you're an earlier edition of Sparx, this is Sparx 17.1, build 1710, your resource tab is going to look a little bit different. So I'm in the default Sparx layout where browsers on the left, properties in the upper right, and notes in the lower right. So if we go to browser in the resource tab, project templates used to be called document publishing, and document guides used to be called linked documents. They do the same thing, they just changed the name of these resource packages that contain your custom models, and we're going to be talking about document guides or linked documents using model templates. So what are linked documents? In Sparx, a linked document is a rich text document, RTF or HTML based, that is associated directly with an element. So right here, we have a linked document. We can right click here and we can open up whatever that linked document is. The key features of linked documents is that they're modular and they are stored within the element. They can be formatted any way that you want using rich text formatting. This includes tables, images, and hyperlinks. They're stored within the model, embedded in the EA project file or repository. So that's what makes them portable and version controlled. And the templates can be generated for customized. In this case, we see some customized templates created to maintain consistency across your delivery, your project use case specifications, requirements, documents, and more. So how do linked documents differ from the notes that are under the element? So here's the notes field, and then here's the linked document for the exact same element. The note field in any element is the primary intent of that element or objects, and this should be specific to the element for reporting, collaboration, and other references. On the other hand, the linked document is an additional point of reference that can optionally be added to reports or just used for model references and extended intelligence. To view linked documents within the elements of your model, we're just going to go to properties and we're going to select document, and it brings up this window in the default setting, and we'll scroll down to the element itself down below. Over on the right, we have notes. So when I select this, I see notes. When I go to machine learning and AI, I don't have a linked document, and there's no icon, but you can even turn or hide that icon, but I do have notes. So they two differ, and when you're in your workspace layout, you can work both of them, as well as other capabilities for collaborations, but we'll talk about those in another video. To add a linked document, simply right-click on it, then select Linked Document, or you can hit shortcut keys, Control-Alt, and D, and we'll go ahead and launch it. So the default is none. You're not choosing anything. You have a blank slate to work on. Or you hit this drop down, you can choose from your custom, and these are custom over here under document guides, or we can choose from a plethora of canned documents that Sparx provides you. Let's go ahead for this element. We created a custom template. So we're going to select it and then apply. And here we go. So we have a blank template that's populated and formatted in a way that tells the user, hey, describe the solution here, list the applications, and describe the impacts of the applications. Pretty short and sweet, and you can add solution details underneath. Let's choose a use case using a use case with a template that's provided for populating the use case so that you can drive other things like your scenario steps, can generate activity diagrams, as you've learned in the channel, test cases, and more. We'll take a closer look at this in just a moment. What we're going to do is remove the linked document icon and document itself from this element. And so we selected it. We're in the document window, not notes. We're in this window. We have a hamburger right here. We're going to select it and we're going to choose delete linked document. Yes, I'm sure. And there it is gone. There's nothing there. Now we're going to create a custom document that we can use. Now I've shown you how to do this in previous episodes, but let's just do this really quick. So I'm going to go to the resource tab in the project browser. I'm going to go down to document guides and I'm going to right click on model templates, create a template. And we're going to call this template solution approach documentation. It's grayed out. You can't choose a template or copy a template at this particular point. And we're not going to set a group. So we're going to hit OK. So now we have a blank slate to work with. Let me go ahead and close the document edit window. And here we've created a new template that we can start working with. So the first thing that I do is just type out roughly the notes, the layout that I want, in the order that I want. And then I can go through and format. I can make this bold. I can make the larger font. Let's say something like 16. I can set it to right, justify rather, and so on. But I'm going to go through here and format these the way that we want. So I simply just made these bold, these headers that represent header 1, bold 14 points right here in Arial as the font style. And that's it. I'm going to hit save and we can go ahead and close this. So we're in this element. We're going to right click in here, linked document, and we're going to choose our new template, solution approach documentation. And there we go. We have a template that we can start filling out for this particular element that's in our model. Let's go ahead and choose the document window again. So start tab, properties, document, and again, it's down here at the bottom. I like to have it in the lower right corner or just to the right of the model itself. So I'm able to view particular items, look at the template, make changes, populate it, whatever's necessary. And then I can go over to this one and we can see the linked document that we added here. We have notes that are over on the lower right. So we can work between the template and our notes as we're driving our model, in this case, driving our solution architecture. You'll notice that when you're in the linked document or the document window, I can't edit this. In order to edit this, I can select the hamburger, edit mode, and now here I can start populating this template. And while you're working this document, again, you have lots of choices that are here. You can lock the element, you can reload the document, you can find in browser, select it, it goes right to the element in the browser. And you can, one of the things I really like is find elements with linked document modified recently. It takes you right to the search window, finds linked documents, and this may be within the model that you're working, the context that you're working within the design, delivery, and modeling exercise. And probably most importantly, you can print from here. So you select print, and just like any other print function in Windows, it's going to have you select what you want to print to. Could be a PDF file, could be your file store, could be a temporary design location where you're keeping your documentation. I always recommend printing a version when you're comfortable with its completion in case something happens and it gets lost. You're also going to be baselining your work as you're progressing in here. So you always have a backup to go to if something goes wrong. This linked document is stored within the Sparx database. So if someone comes in and accidentally removes it, Having that printed version of it allows you just to bring that content back in and populate the template, or you're just restoring from a baseline. It's totally up to you, but I like having the redundancy while I'm working. Now, I said I was going to get back to the linked document for a use case. This is extremely powerful. You're going to go through and you're going to populate the information that's in here. Let's go into edit mode, and you're able to copy portions of your intelligence in here while you're working on your scenario, both the use case and the scenario. Let's go into properties. And so in this particular case, you can see we copied the context of use all the way down to primary actors. And then we also wanted to bring in the related use cases in this particular case. Then when we went into scenarios, we brought in stakeholder portion of our template all the way down to our main scenario that we're going to use, including extensions that are going to drive our scenario unstructured editor. Then when we go in here, we're able to push those steps out 1 through 4 that you see right here, better define them as you're going through, bring in your context, and then be able to drive your modeling, whether you're doing activity diagrams or sequence diagrams, including your test cases, driving those from your scenarios. So you can work very, very fast using templates, everyone's consistent in populating those templates and following the practices within your shop to apply to your documents versus the notes that are in here and going forward. So let me go ahead and close this. I'm going to go back here so you can see the difference between the linked document and the notes. The notes we apply to the element, and then as far as the scenario goes, we basically go in here. These are driven separately within the scenario from the notes that are over here. Both are separate from the linked document, which is the primary element that's driving your approach and design velocity. The final thing that I want to talk about as we're wrapping up here is that you can take your linked documents and expose them in your custom reports. So we're going to minimize document guides, and we're going to go to report template where our custom reports are. And let's just go down to solution approach and open up this window. And I want to fill the screen with this window. So let me do something like this, and let's look through our template. So in our template, we're actually exposing linked documents that are part of our report within our diagram. So here's the template that's for the package. Here's the template that's for the elements. And so when you're looking and configuring these, and I have a video on this, I'll try to include the link down below, you're able to go through and put in things like linked documents that you're generating. Right here, you see linked documents. You can turn that on and off at that level and the various levels that I show you in the video. And these templates that are here are exposed as fragments. Very simple fragment for package linked documents looks like this, and for element linked packages looks like this. So when you're doing your custom report, you can insert these fragments in from your linked documents at the diagram level, at the element level, even at the package level. You can bring in your linked document intelligence if you want to. I hope this episode was useful for you. In today's session, you learned what a linked document is, the difference between the linked document and notes, what changed in Sparx 17. So if you're in an older version, you understand where your custom templates are, you understand where your document guides are and your model templates are. We created a model template that could be used as a linked document or a standalone artifact, and we exposed our linked documents in our custom reports, as you saw earlier. Let me know if you've got any questions or concerns. Post them down below in comments. Like if this content is helping you. All right, subscribe if you have not already done so. And until that next episode, happy modeling.